Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. I have a great video for you guys and gals today. Smash that like button, subscribe. You definitely want to stay tuned in for this one. It is the most important video in today's time. It's crucial. You have to be preparing about this. And what it is the US presidential election right around the corner, because markets are going to act very skittishly and I guess, stable. And when you have two different directions that that the winner could go, or two different directions that things could go, you have to almost stack and strategize in both ways. So this video, hopefully by the end, will allow you to have a safer, more profitable strategy. Because if you're not preparing, then you're setting yourself up for failure. The ones that are looking at this and not doing anything, those are the ones that are going to be missing out. At least you are taking the action to getting some knowledge, getting some different ideas, perspectives, and a way to break down this this upcoming situation, because it's definitely going to be crazy, to say the least, especially with the global pandemic and the United States financial system becoming exposed, and trillion-dollar stimulus. And this article even goes into QE, which is quantitative easing. There's so much happening. And that was just to say a couple things. We could go all in about silver supply and demand, or the gold to silver ratio, or we can go, but that's a separate video. But the whole point is, we've never been in a situation like this before, right? And even last year, I was predicting silver would do extremely well this year, and that was before I knew that there would be a global pandemic. See, I wasn't a time traveler, but I did know that the US presidential election was next year. So that's why I said it was bullish. I had no idea there would also be a global pandemic as well. So this is just a little bit of gasoline is going to cause a huge explosion. So I hope you're ready. Now, we do, like I said earlier, have to kind of strategize in two different directions. Joe Biden, more green energy. I think that would help silver's demand on some sides, but then we have the reverse, or the consequences. So I'm not gonna get political whatsoever in this video. I'm looking at this strictly from a precious metal standpoint, and what will offer, or how you will profit the most. Link to this article is in the description. Let's jump into it. So, gold and silver to shine after the US elections. Strategists at TD Securities expect that gold and silver will all do better after the election, with the specific fiscal, tax, and social policy initiatives and current market positioning determining the upside magnitude. In addition, they expect silver to outperform the yellow metal due to investments in green technology, what I was just talking about. The only thing is you got to pump the brakes a little bit, because like I said in a couple of videos ago, they found a way to use like 15% or like 75% less than, or only 15% of silver in these solar panels. They found a way to cut back the amount by far. So what that means is the demand for solar panels, or photovoltaic cells, which the silver is in, is going to be a lot drastically smaller than people were interpreting by the year 2025. But we still have electric vehicles. We still have electric vehicles, 5G technology. We have the 5G towers and many other things. And also the individual investor like you and I that's also going to be buying silver as it goes higher. And younger generations, more convenient, easily accessible from apps like Robinhood. There's a lot of potential here. So, key quotes. Despite any vote related to erratic behavior, the post-US election period should very likely see a reduction in the market volatility and policy uncertainty. With that, it is likely that large fiscal spending programs topping $5 trillion over the next 2 years will likely be passed by whoever's in power. At the same time, though, We believe that taxes over that period should not rise much higher, as this would be counterproductive during a pandemic. And this is where things get tricky. This is where you really are going to have to be on your A game, because there's this situation where we want to keep the economy afloat. We want to do good due diligence, do everything in our power to make sure that these people that lost their jobs, lost all this stuff, and out of work, we have to keep them, we have to keep them comfortable and safe, but we really don't have the money to. Everyone thinks America's rich. America's $27 trillion in debt, and it's getting worse every day. The dollar has lost 98% of its purchasing power, 44% in the last 20 years. The dollar's lost 44% in the last 20 years. Think how what it's going to be like in another 20 years from now as it keeps going downwards. Something has to change. And I definitely know for a fact that gold and silver won't be losing its value. As the dollar decreases, that is a direct correlation of gold and silver increasing. You can check it on any chart throughout history ever. So I can almost guarantee that gold and silver will rise in price. See, the dollar lowers in price over time, gold and silver rise in price over time. So anyways, I really wanted to get that point across, because you gotta know this stuff. You have to. And the person that's not watching this video, or scrolled past this video, that didn't get this information, can you see how much different they could be strategizing or investing? Do you see why it's so important to watch my videos and really think about this and apply this knowledge to your own stack? It's very important. So with the Fed continuing to pursue its current QE program, many in the precious metals market will worry about the debasement of the USD and indeed fiat currencies. Like I was just explaining. The USD is the world's reserve currency, but like I said, 44% in the last 20 years, the dollar's lost 98% of its purchasing power, $27 trillion in debt, and this pandemic exposed all of it. So you have a couple countries that are opting out, saying, no, I don't want to mess with the US dollar. That's phony, and that's bad, because the dollar's value is off of pure speculation. The dollar is only worth how much people, quote unquote, think it's worth. So if people start to think it's not worth anything, then it literally isn't worth anything. So we get into a tricky situation. And by the way, guys, these articles are always in the description. Do your homework. These articles, every article I talk about on this channel and I break down, it's written today. All these articles were written today, fresh off the press. So, with the Fed continuing to pursue its current QE program, many in the precious metals market will worry about debasement. So the Fed signals that it will keep rates across the curve from rising even as inflation moves north of 2%, suggests that real rates, which are key drivers of gold, will continue to fall and help lift the price of our $2,100 an ounce target next year. The very flat curve should also help prevent the flow of physical metal into the market, serving as support. So regardless of what happens or how it happens, which way it happens, it seems like all roads lead to Rome, right? When we're looking at it that way, it could be silver coming up, it could be gold coming up, cushioning silver, it could be the stability, it could be gold setting it past this all-time high that brings attention, and then silver doing somewhere, starting its next rally. I mean, there's definitely different directions, but there's so many profitable, beneficial directions as well. With more money circulating, interest rates effectively, the price of money falls. Governments increase spending with money central banks create and spend more again by borrowing, since interest rates for the government are often near zero and sometimes below. With that, fixed income instruments will not deliver much value, particularly if central banks impose negative rates. In this environment, gold shines as its supply is very slow to expand relative to fiat money. Mine production will have a difficult time to grow much faster than 2% year for the foreseeable future. So we judge a Democratic Party dominated by administration is more likely to be hooked on excessive spending and monetary policy stimulus, which is more gold friendly. Definitely, whoever's spending the more money is only going to make the dollar worse and gold and silver stronger. So a blue wave could well change the Federal Reserve Act in order to facilitate monetization as a permanent policy to fund excessive government debt. So now we're kind of getting into the different directions, who wins, how things could play out in your stack. What silver price gonna be if the left wins? What is silver price gonna be if the right wins? And what are we gonna do about it after because there's a lot of promises being made. There's gonna be a lot of promises, a lot of chaos, controversy. But when all that's said and done and things die down, what are the markets going to be like? Will they stick from all that controversy? Because yes, they're going to inflate, they're going to push up, they're going to go into overbought territory. But will they hold there? Is there stability? Is there a foundation underneath these high prices, or will it only be almost like a false flag? So silver does well when it is favorable in the environment for gold. It has a historical volatility double that of gold. Double. It's gold on steroids. And at the current 78 to gold silver ratio, the white metal is very cheap. We expect investors to buy it for the same reason that they do gold, but also capitalize on this pandemic industry or industrial recovery, as over 60% of silver demand comes from industrial sources. Expenditures on green energy, infrastructure, decarbonization, and electrification should help silver, as it's very much used in solar panels and virtually all electrical circuits. Plus, given supply is constrained, there will be pressure on the existing supply, which should see it move to $30 an ounce again next year. So I read some price forecasts saying $135. I've read some saying $75. I've read some saying $35. I've read some saying mid to low 20s. And here's the thing. Just like last year, all of the price predictions, the price forecasts from last year are way off, way off, because nobody could have predicted a global pandemic would be on our hands. So putting that formula forwards, we can't really get an accurate prediction, because there's going to be things that are going to blow our minds, or something's going to happen in the economy, and it's going to change things drastically. We have to incorporate the unknown variable. If everything stayed the same as right now, yes, those price predictions will probably be close, but we don't know what next up in store is going to be crazy to heavily affect prices. So you always got to stay on your toes. You always got to keep an eye out. That's why I make daily videos every single day, giving you the newest, latest information on what silver is doing, why are gold and silver acting like this, what you should do about it, right? It's very important to stay tuned. So I'm curious what you thought about this video. Do you think that silver and gold are going to profit from this election or benefit? I think it's going to do kind of what I was just talking about, is going to inflate around election dates. It's going to inflate kind of all the hype. People don't really trust banks and governments. And what that's going to do is allow people to buy silver and gold from a monetary metal. And that's also why silver's better, because it's an industrial and monetary metal, not just a monetary metal. But anyways, people are going to be buying that up, which is going to inflate the price, as they don't trust government. But when everything settles down and cools down, they're going to transfer their money from the gold and silver, or sell back to fiat, because they have weak hands. And so if we want the price to stay higher next year, we really got to get some real stackers, get the ball rolling, some real stability underneath our feet, just like a foundation. If we are building a house and if it doesn't have a strong foundation, the house will crumble. So hopefully it's a more gradual, accelerating approach instead of just skyrocketing overnight. because then it will crash just like Bitcoin did, and just as fast and just as hard. So, anyways, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Um, like I said, do your homework, read these articles. If you're lazy or if you don't want to, I guess just watch my videos. I post 2 videos a day, one in the morning time or around morning, and the second one at night. So every day I'm giving you some good content and what's happening. And I don't try to make the same content over and over. Sometimes I'll do forecast videos. Sometimes I'll go into price manipulation, spoofing videos. Sometimes I'll talk about the markets through my perspective. Sometimes I'll do stacking strategies. I do unboxing sometimes. I talk about a lot of stuff because there is so much to talk about in the precious metals world. So you definitely want to be subscribed. I appreciate you for tuning in. Make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. I post daily videos. This was Silver Slayer. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys soon.